Hi, I'm DJ Washington. I want to give you a little tips on what Qigong is. When I'm talking to students and people that are interested in this topic, the first thing they need to do is they need to understand what the Qi part of Qigong is. So sometimes people don't know really, they don't have any idea what it is. So really the first part is understanding Qi. So I have up here, what is Qi? And simply, it's fairly simple, but we're going to look at it in a couple different ways so you guys can understand it a little bit deeper. So Qi really is energy. Okay? So you got to think about this. This is on a couple different levels. So it's not just the human body, but it is related to the human body because we are part of the world, we are part of the universe, we are part of the heaven. The heavens is what the Chinese say, and we are part of everything that we see material around us. So really, the Chinese believe everything has energy, okay? Everything has a Qi. If you look at the way the Chinese talk about Qi, they almost attach it to everything, every type of word. Like they'll say like Kong Qi is like air conditioning, right? So Zi Qi is the Qi of the dead. So there's different ways that they talk about it. And usually they'll attach the state of energy that something is in. Okay, so this also, we say energy here, but you know the yogis look at this as prana, right? So that's another way you could put it, is the prana, or what a lot of people say like life force. So it has an energy. So that's really what the Chinese were talking about when they talk about Qigong, is they're talking about energy. When we're talking about energy, what I think is really great about Qigong, and when you're studying and practicing it, is what it allows you to do when you understand and start to feel your energy, that really what it is that you're starting to get a better and deeper feeling for what's going on inside the body, okay? So I have a couple of terms up here, Chinese terms, and really what it is, the reason I put those up there, it's not so you have to speak Chinese, but what it really is I want you to understand what they were talking about when they came up with these characters, and what they were talking about when they were really talking, starting to get the idea of what Qi is, when the Chinese were talking about it and studying it. So I want to go to this. This is one of the older terms, okay? So this right here would stand for nothing, okay? And then this term here means fire. So you put those two together, and really what this meaning is of this term altogether, when you take each piece and you put it together in a character, then it means no fire. So when you take this concept of understanding no fire, really what I think they were boiling this down to is in the body, when somebody feels sick, what do they usually have? They have some type of fever, right? Where their body is, we won't even put a smiley face on them because they're not feeling so great. But let's put a little temperature is spiking up and it's getting very, very high, right? So fever. So this is a natural occurrence in the body, is someone will get a fever and they'll start to feel hot. Okay, so the next part is look at like when you get injured, when you get hit, or something in the joints will get hot. The area will get hot. You'll also have some swelling. So now you're having some inflammation, because that's basically what the body knows to do, is it sends an inflammatory response. It brings more blood and fluid in that area so it can help heal that area. Okay, so this is really what we're looking at is this is what they were talking about when they were talking about no fire. They were talking about bringing down the inflammation of the body, bringing down so you're in a better homeostasis, because that's really what the body is looking for. Is it's looking for balance in your organ, in your whole being, is that it's looking for some type of balance. So this is what they were looking for when they were talking about this term. They were talking about qi. They were talking about no fire in the body. So if we look at the term, again, this is not only on a physical, personal outlook. We can look at this in the universe too, right? So you could look at the way the world works. When there is a disturbance in energy, right? Then we get hurricanes, we get tornadoes, we get those kinds of things. We get those huge storms that come through when it needs balance. So we have all types of things that happen naturally in weather patterns. So our weather patterns show that energy is off in the world or in the atmosphere, the area that we live in, and it will make its own, it'll do its own balancing, right? It'll cause some type of storm to balance it out. Okay, so that's another way you could look at it too. So another part, this is another term, and this is what you might see more frequently nowadays is this term, and so this term means qi, right? Or energy. But really, what you're looking at is you're looking at two parts here, and I have the body split up here in the diaphragm, and I'm going to talk about how it correlates to the body. So, so the first part is air. Okay, this is what we breathe, right? And then the next part is rice. So we have air and we have rice, and I want to boil this down to really. This is what I like to say when you're looking at this and you see you have air being one part and rice being the other. You really got to look at quality. And nowadays you see this a lot more. The quality of the food that we eat. And now, a lot of times you'll find a lot of additives and things in food that we didn't have, hundreds and thousands of years ago. Hundreds of years ago, we didn't have all those additives. We didn't have preservatives. We didn't have all of these chemicals that we put on our food now. So really, if you look at the quality of the food and you can change the quality of your food, that's one way you can increase your own qi or your own energy levels, is to get rid of the toxins that the body has to get rid of. Okay, so the next part, going back to air, we got to look at the quality of this too. Okay, so the quality of the way we breathe. I'll just say breath, or your breathing. So if you're breathing good, or you're taking some time for some breathing practice each day, that is a very good key to getting good air quality, okay? And again, it won't be like, again, air quality is probably something you won't get a lot of in a bigger city. If you have a lot of smog and things like that, you're not going to find the quality of the air is going to be exceptional. It's not going to be the best. So what can you do to get away from that, to make your air better, cleaner? How's the quality looking? Is it looking okay, right? So again, this goes with, I believe, if you're getting some type of workout. And I want to boil this down to here. I want to talk about this part. This is what the Chinese talk about. They split the body in two hemispheres or two areas. We look at it and we split it at the waist. But here we're going to, this is the diaphragm. Okay, this is really the point where you see the difference between what they call upper level qi and lower level qi. Okay, so this would be lower. So look at this. If you are working out and you are working your air portion of this equation, or part of this term here, this character, so you're going to be working the heart and the lungs, which the Chinese believe are together, and we see this all the time. I see this in working with my clients. If you want good energy flow in the lungs and the heart, you need to move your arms. Okay, that's a key point to anybody that has heart issues, anybody that has lung issues. You have to work out your arms. It's going to help. It's going to help out a lot. Now you also have the opposite effect of that, is that if they work out their arms too much and there's no flexibility, you have no flexibility in the arms, you're also going to have some issues there because energy is stagnant. So energy could go two ways. So you definitely have to have some good flexibility and some strength. You got to have some energy flow in those areas. Okay. So if you're working out, you're definitely raising your heart rate. You're breathing harder. That would be working this upper level chi. Okay. So that would be a quality part too, is what's the quality of your workouts? Are you actually exerting yourself enough where you're breathing a little bit harder, your heart rate is going up? People talk about that in health all the time now, and we have monitors that we use all the time. So let's go to the next part here. You got rice, you got the quality of food. So this is all your digestive organs down here. I have the stomach here, kind of. I'm not a beautiful artist, but you get the picture, right? You got the liver here. We have the small intestine I wrote back and forth, and then we got the large intestine, and then you got the pancreas and all kinds of other organs in there too. So this is lower level chi. Okay, this is the food part. This is taking care of the food. Okay, so we got the air, upper level chi. We got the rice and what you eat as lower level chi. So this I really think of is what the Chinese were talking about when they were talking about chi. So now we have to look at it in the body standpoint. So what do you have when you're talking about chi, when you're talking about energy in the body? What do you feel? So what are the feelings that you get? So some people might feel heat, which we talked about. If you touch somebody on their shoulder or on their leg, I do this for a living. I do this and I work on people in massage therapy, and the heat from my hands transfers to them. You can feel it. Someone might be cold. Their hands might be really cold, and you could touch somebody's their hands that are really warm and go, oh God, that feels so great. Okay, so one way you could feel chi is heat or light. Okay, and some people are familiar with seeing auras. This is where you might see the light. So this is where your aura energy would show. Okay. Another thing people might feel is if you ever feel energy and you're doing any type of energy work, you're doing a Qigong form, you're doing a Tai Chi form, some people might feel a little bit of a pushback. Okay, so this might come in the form of like a magnetism. So you might feel some push-pull with people. People feel this all the time, like whether they want to they're attracted to that person or they like that person, there's a magnetism already. And I'm not talking about just that, but you'll actually feel a pushback in the hands, okay? So there's a couple different ways that you could look at this. There's a lot of unknowns too. So there's some unknown things that we don't know that could be labeled chi or energy. So there's things that go on in our body right now probably that science has not understood. And these would be considered those unknowns. So there's a lot more. That'll just give you a little bit of an idea what chi really is and how it affects the body in some ways here. So some of the things I could tell you to do is if you want, we see this now with the quality of food, eat some better food. Vegetables, fruits, Eat better foods. This is the quality of food, right? And that's going to help your chi. It's going to help your energy. And that's, for me, it's one of my top values in life, is making sure that I have the energy to do the things that I want to do with me, with my family, with my friends. If I don't have energy, if you don't have energy, you don't have energy to do anything, then you can't do anything. You're going to be, shot down. So your energy levels for me is extremely important, and I feel it should be for